All right,
Okay,
let's go.
I got you. Hold on. Let me get this going. Give me 1 second. Let me record this.
Okay.
Okay. What's going on, Red Pill?
Peace, King. How are you?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Indeed.
Man, it's been a minute since we touched base.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely has been. How many years? About a year?
About a year now. It's been a minute,
Been a minute, huh?
man.
Well,
So what's new? What's new going on in the NY? Before we start off, anything new?
yeah, it's Gotham City.
For
No, I'm serious.
real,
Um, yeah, New York is lawless right now.
right?
The police, they I'm not gonna say that they quit on their job, but they quit on their job. You know, they did something like this similar was in 2000, I think 17. I could be wrong, but there was a police killing that took place. There's a brother by the name of Brinsley, Ishmael Brinsley. He killed two police officers. Um, Basically, he did it to martyr Eric Gardner, right?
Right,
And yesterday was Eric Gardner's anniversary, and they don't bring up the fact that he was martyred. That somebody came to New York from Baltimore and killed two police officers. So as a result of that, the police went on strike because De Blasio was being sympathetic towards the plight of, you know, Aboriginal indigenous people. So because the mayor wasn't all the way in on the Blue Lives Matter, they started to strike. So they're
right,
striking right now, whereas they're not responding to, they're not following what was a law called the broken glass policy that was initiated by Mike Bloomberg, where the police would arrest you for just anything. Um, Quality of life, not even crimes, urinating, open cans and whatnot. When they were stopping and frisking, now they're not
right,
doing any of that. So if you tune into social media and you peep, if you go into New York at night, police don't run the streets anymore. They're not in control. They're having unofficial block parties whereas before you had to get a permit, now they're shutting off blocks and just throwing block parties. Dykeman, which is a Dominican area, uptown Manhattan, mad popping at night. Harlem, they just had a bottle war where people would they chased the cops off of the right off of the block, throwing about 100 bottles at them. The shootings in New York has surged about 200%. There's a gang war in New York with the Woos and the Chews, Pop Smoke's gang, and the Blickies, which are the Chos or the Chews. These are young teenagers, and they have an all-out war. So you're having a lot of drive-bys. People are walking up, shooting people. It's loose out there. I ain't gonna lie to you. The police are scared. I don't know if they defunded the police, but you know, they are there. There's a lot of political strings being pulled because it's considered to be a Democratic stronghold, and Trump is from New York.
right.
Things that so there's a lot of provocations, you know, pulling of funding, and all of these things. So New York is loose right now.
I know they painted the Black Lives Matter in front of what Trump Plaza or something, and then the black lady and the white woman came through with the
And
deep
they faced it.
yeah
Yeah,
deface.
they yeah, that's an arts and craft project. They did the same thing They put a Black Lives Matter mural in front of the Gods and the Earth's building right on the school, the Allah school, right in Harlem. They put Black
Right.
Lives Matter. They didn't put Black Gods Matter. You know, they didn't put the black man as God. They painted Black Lives Matter, you know, which is a LBGT organization, and they don't follow the tenets of the sacred sun, moon, and stars, you know, with the gods, with the earths and
Right.
the stars. They don't follow that. They're anti that. So by putting that message in front of their school, in so many ways, they were openly disrespecting them. So they're
Man.
doing that all over New York City. But like I said, New York City's turned into Gotham City, and babies are being killed. There's a 1-year-old that got shot in Bed-Stuy in the stomach, right? Imagine what kind of pain a 1-year-old is being tormented. You know, it was a walk up. They walked up and started shooting up a block party or a barbecue and killed the baby. So it's like, you know, you don't hear that though. You're all the way in Detroit. You didn't know about that. And at the end of the day, with all of these paintings and all of these murals and all of these Europeans that stepped out and all of these allies and people that said that they care, you know, they are not that careful or they don't care that much to whereas they are doing things that are solid, like funding the community or crowdfunding, right? Crowdfunding, because if we're going to do a march, we're going to do a crowdfunding. We're not going to just show up and leave. I'm not going to allow that. I wouldn't be a part of any march that wasn't raising funds. It doesn't make sense because what the hell is a painted sidewalk? It's just messing up traffic because they block the streets off. You can't even drive over the mural. It's just an eyesore. So, you know, the lady defaced it. She probably was paid by the Republicans. It's to me, it's a huge distraction. It doesn't mean anything. It's empty to me. It's not,
Right.
it's what is painting the names of people who got killed on a sidewalk supposed to do? And what about the people that got killed by their own? They don't get a mural. They're forgotten. There's more young people in Harlem that have died this year at the hands of their own than anybody, than all of these cases that they cherry pick and you know sprinkle some outrage on. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not, you know, that doesn't I'm a all lives matter type of justice person. Not to say that I believe in all lives matter, all black lives, or all Moorish or melanated lives. Even if they fell by their own, we should edify them and say their names. We should remember their memories. So many babies are dying in Brooklyn, you know, because the gang wars amongst teenagers. These are not necessarily the Bloods and the Crips. The older ones, they had their days. Now it's the six. That was from 13 and up, you know, and they're shooting Fortnite guns. You know what I mean? They're not pulling out handguns. They got ARs, M16s, you know, SKs,
Yeah.
EFNs.
Don't forget all the money floating around because that's what's going on up here. Everybody got new guns.
So that's another thing. There's a surge of money. The PPP loans. There's a huge surge of money. It's in the hood. And nobody who was marching, none of the ralliers, you know, the Maisons of the world, you know, none of the people who do pickets, they didn't speak economic talk. They didn't speak financial literacy. They didn't go into the hood and say, what are y'all doing with that money? Let's put it and create, because there's no businesses that I see, brick and mortars are not being opened up. You know, nobody is buying back the block. They're buying Lamborghini trucks and they're buying weight and they're buying guns because some of the money came illegally and some of the money came just signing in. There was no work to get the money. So what are you gonna, you know, all of the firecrackers, a lot of that was getting purchased with loan money.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like people with no direction are going to initiate chaos. It's you don't even have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that formula. People who feel victimized, right? Because I don't even think that they're buying black. So they want to marry jeans. You know, they want to floss because they can't. They want the Louis mask to match the Louis mask to match the fanny pack,
Right.
to match the belt, so they can hop out of a ghost. You know what I mean? They want the Rolls Royce trucks. You know, they want to look like Lil Baby. They want a bust down watch. So you know the mentality with everything that went on in the last month or two, nothing has truly changed. The mentality is still, you know, it's a victimhood mentality, which leads to, you know, ignorance, pure ignorance. You know, you got ladies twerking, and they think that that's a way to get the police attention. You
Right.
know, it's buffoonery on high levels. But yeah, the guns are up. I'm pro Second Amendment. You know, I'm pro Second Amendment. I say fill up your walk-in closet with an arsenal. Make it look like that scene in the Matrix. I'm not against that, especially for my sisters that are out here who have been abandoned, you know, by protectorates and whatnot. You know, you have the right to protect yourself. If you could squeeze a hair bottle spray, then you could squeeze off on a gun if your life is in threatened. For the brothers out there with clean records and whatnot, you know, I feel that there should be more um, organization. Brothers should look into private security firms. They should truly flex and exercise their Second Amendment unapologetically in these days and times. I'm pro that. I'm anti building up an arsenal, you know, to go to war with your brothers and your sisters for illicit purposes. I think that's going completely backwards. That's feeding the prison complex industry. You know, because I'm an advocate that if you gotta keep it on you, somebody's threatening your life. You know,
You're gonna be caught with it, without
that's
it.
right. That's right. People are coming home right now from jail. I'm sure it's in your hood too. The killers are coming home.
Let me tell you what's going on right now. Right now we got protesters coming into the hood. That's outsiders. That's Black Lives Matter. They trying to fuck up the hood. They bringing cold rocks with ice and thermos and whatever and coolers. They coming in trying to really stir it up because I guess Detroit is one of the last spots that really haven't rioted like that because you know we really put our police into check. It took years. It took like 40 years. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know.
I heard about that. I heard there was a pushback many years ago, and it kind of put the police in line.
Well, Mayor Comey Young start hiring more cops. That you know, if you're gonna whoop our ass, then you got to stay in our neighborhood. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? This Mayor Coleman Young, he didn't want suburbians coming being cops into our neighborhood. Being, you know, you have to if you want to be a cop, you have to live into the city. And
That's
so
right.
he implemented that rule way back in the '80s, and that really kind of, you know, if you're gonna whoop our ass, then you got to stay around the corner.
That's right. You
And
got to
so
stand on that.
you know what I'm saying? And so you're gonna reap the repercussions. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically shut a lot of that down, and all through the '90s. In the early 2000s, it was the gang wars in Detroit, you know, the drug wars, which really, you know, a lot of cops was getting ambushed. Then focus back to '08 when the economy dropped. That's when a lot of the gang wars really went to its height. And so not police brutality, police ambushes and police killing really was at its height. So a lot of police around here kind of keep it cool. And we know that. And so, you know, I do a few protests up here, and what I see a lot of outsiders coming in trying to stir it up into our neighborhood. They started off downtown, that didn't work, and now they coming into the hood on any little thing that happened. And these protesters, goddamn it, they got medics. They pass around Capri Suns and granola bars.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? And these protesters is like no other protesters I've ever seen. They
Fact.
come with bottled waters, signs, whatever you want. If
Yeah,
you
they got the
with milk,
placards.
right? They
Yeah.
come with milk. If you get maced, they come in with crates of milk.
Facts.
And so, you know, Detroit, like you know, what I'm seeing is a lot of outsiders coming in trying to stir it up, but we won't allow it.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to talk about like the rise of the black militias. You got the NFAC. Also, you got Blackwater and the private armies going around the country kidnapping people. They're in Chicago, Illinois, Portland. They've been caught in Richmond, Virginia, posing as police. So what you think about that? Like the Blackwater got caught in Portland kidnapping.
Yeah, well, Betsy DeVos, who's the Secretary of Education,
that's Michigan. Yeah, she Michigan. That's the militia.
Yeah, she hoards over all of the children in America, right? So the DeVos, they're the DeVos family. I highly suggested the researchers start digging into the DeVos, DEVOS. Her brother happens to be
Amway.
And all right, yeah. Her brother happens to be Eric Prince, right?
Right.
And Eric Prince, for the family who may be unfamiliar with Eric Prince, he's the founder of Blackwater. And for the family who may be unfamiliar with Blackwater, Blackwater is notorious for the atrocities that they committed in Iraq, namely, most famously, Fallujah, the Fallujah invasion, where they basically committed war crimes inside of Fallujah, Iraq, right? When one of theirs was killed, they went in there and basically decimated that city and whatnot. And Blackwater also comes up in Katrina. For anybody who cares to remember the atrocities that were committed in Katrina, Spike Lee did not highlight that in his documentary When the Levees Broke.
Right.
Cynthia McKinney does. She's a politician. She highlighted the fact that there were multiple gunshot wound victims, I believe, in Angola prisons, gunshot wounds to the head. And there was Dr. Phil Valentine. He did the lecture, Death March 2020, I believe. And he showed proof of Blackwater riding around, killing looters, shooting indiscriminately. You know, they flew them in from Iraq to clean up. This was during the Bush Cheney administration. And Cheney was in Halliburton, right?
Right.
And they were the ones who gave rise to the private contractors. And through the Patriot Act and other loopholes, these private contractors actually had more power than armed servicemen, right? They were basically running around, you know, unchecked. They didn't have to answer to anybody. So
like on some Interpol type shit, but they got more jurisdiction than Interpol, right?
Facts. People who are excited about the whole term, the deep state, they get triggered when they hear that. Well, if you want to know more about the deep state, go and research more about Blackwater. These are black ops. These are private military or private militias, and they're cloaked underneath LLCs. They're cloaked inside of corporate protections. You know what I mean? So Blackwater had to change their name to XI, the Chi Academy. Eric Prince moved to China and started doing dirty work for China. Now he's in bed with Trump. That's one of his buddies. When Trump won his election, Eric Prince was with him. So Eric Prince has been activated by Donald Trump to bring out to bring out his Blackwater mercenaries. These are mercenaries. That's the best way to call it. These are paid killers. These are paid shooters. These are, these are mercenaries.
They connected deeply to Michigan with the Michigan militia, and they exercised their rights against the governor of Michigan, which is Whitner. They tried to really overthrow her.
Facts. Then they have a armed demonstration on Capitol Hill.
Few times,
right? About wearing a mask.
They did so many demonstrations I can't even count. Probably 3, 4, 5 goddamn times. I know they went to her house. They went to the
Well,
governor's house with guns.
yeah, the Michigan militia, for the family who may not be familiar, is on record as the longest, I mean, as the largest standing army in the world.
Right.
These are the hunters. Based off of the amount of hunting licenses that are being issued, they are considered to be the largest standing army. This is a militia. So the Michigan militia is the crown of the militias in America. Um, they took the information or the rhetoric from right wing radio about not wearing a mask, right, and about the COVID-19 lockdown, and they basically they committed treason. I mean, they marched on, and they marched on the Capitol, and they went to an elected official's house.
They went to her house surrounded with guns. They
They
stormed the
burned the
state
effigy.
capitol with AR-15s with and we didn't know if everybody really can legally have a gun. Did everybody get checked coming in? No, because it's white people that can't get guns too. But according
That's a
to them,
fact.
every white person can get a gun.
You
According to
feel me? Like, there's no white people with crystal meth
felony.
charges. There's no white people with open carry charge, with open. There's no people with domestic abuse charges. You didn't run. You didn't use facial recognition to identify who was not licensed in that crowd.
No,
I didn't see any police. The police they stood down.
obviously they got spit on too because they had no mask on. They were spitting in their face.
In their face. I saw that, and I thought that was a violation to be so close to a quote unquote policy officer.
You should be 6
And
feet.
yeah, no, they were not socially distancing inside of the state capitol. I wish I could show you the pictures because I have them. It took place in Richmond. They marched on Northam, Governor Northam, who was the governor that was in blackface. They marched on him, right? They marched on Michigan. They marched on somewhere else. So yeah, these people are like, I think it was the Carolinas dealing with the Confederate statue and whatnot. It's a repeat of Charlottesville.
Yeah, I'm showing pictures right now for the people in Truth Talking. I'm taping it right now. I'm showing the armed militia on the state capitol. They got AR-15s, AK-47, 45s. I mean, shit. I don't know. I can keep naming all type of guns.
Hold on.
PPKs. And this is in Lansing, and so this is where Eric Prince is from, right? The DeVos family, Amway.
Yeah.
Amway.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying? Amway is like what is it, online? They used to deal with like a catalog. You can order whatever or whatever. But that's Amway. That's how they made they owned the west part of Michigan. They run that. That's Grand Rapids. That's where Floyd Mayweather and all them is from.
And that's a lot of trafficking too, in and out. So as you can see, I pulled it up as well. And there we go. No social distancing, right? All in their face. I thought that was a crime.
Yeah.
There's been people tased and beat up all over the news that have violated that, right? There they go standing in the Capitol. This is a senator tweeting. Directly above me, men with rifles yelling at us. Some of my colleagues who own bulletproof vests are wearing them. I have never appreciated our sergeants at arms more than today.
Yeah.
And then there goes the tyrants, get the rope. So they're echoing the sentiments of whatchamacallit. There was a book called The Day. Hold on.
And this is inside the state capitol where no one really was wearing masks. They screaming, spitting everywhere. Who knows who got what? And this right here is the horror of the militia.
Right.
This is the ones who taught Timothy McVeigh.
Right. Exactly. I feel that this is where a lot of the lone wolf shooters come out of.
Right. Because up north Michigan, you have a lot of terrain up there that's uncharted, unbuilt or whatever. You know, you can go up there and shoot all day. You got sheriffs and police. They with it. They don't really harass you too much up north. You know, it's a lot of open land up north. I think you can go 8 hours in Michigan and still be in Michigan.
Facts. So that was the same place that flooded, correctly?
Yeah, that was like in the middle of Michigan. That really wasn't the Upper Peninsula. That was like in the
Okay.
middle, and I think they flooded it to collect insurance money because due to the COVID, because a lot of people wasn't traveling. That I think
Okay.
it really blew up the levee.
Oh, okay. Well, here they go standing in front of the governor's office,
Right,
armed militia, right? And they were protesting the face mask, but they wearing face masks. They're not wearing face masks for the COVID, right?
right.
They're wearing masks to hide their face.
That's the biker baklava's mask.
The baklava mask. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not the N95 mask, right?
right,
These are the hunter masks, the militia masks. So, that goes more to the hypocrisy that we all point out, you know, things that we try to help Nick Cannon see.
right. So we got the rise of also since they rising up, we got the NFAC. They going through the down to Stone Mountain, and they making a presence right now. We want to see the rise of the black militia or the rise of the black gun owners.
Right.
So what you think about that?
I think that that's excellent. I was in contact with them before that actually happened.
Right,
You know, I support that. I
right,
definitely support that. You know, here you go. I um I feel the Second Amendment. I feel that they have the right to protest at Stone Mountain because of the history of Stone Mountain. Um, it's unfortunate that they did the march and none of the black politicians, none of the black celebrities, none of the people who try to convince our people that they care for us. Forget the militia aspect. They didn't even bring up the Stone Mountain part. They didn't demand that the Stone Mountain be demolished, or not the mountain itself, but this part. The Confederates that were carved into the stone. The Confederates who are the the most treasonous, right? The most treasonous um, group of people in America. These are the traitors. They went to war against the government. These are insurgents. These were terrorists, right? But
right,
somehow, some way, in the South, they have carvings of terrorists in a mountain in a black, supposed to be a majority melanated state, right? And people wonder why Stone Mountain is gangland, and melanated people are shooting each other with automatic weapons every day, and black bodies are getting run through the jail system every day, and our people can't get ahead like that in Stone Mountain. Why? Because you have this humongous quartz. This not even stone. This is quartz. And if anybody knows the science of quartz, you could carve your intentions into quartz as piezoelectric. So it's a conductor. It conduces energy, right? Energy is a conductor of energy, pressure. With piezoelectricity, if you put pressure on that quartz, it emits an energy. So the rituals that were done on Stone Mountain, the lynchings, all kind of stuff that was done up there. You people don't know. They don't know what they do on that mountain after dark. There's like a back way to climb up the mountain that's completely sealed off. A few years ago, we broke into it. We went past the do not enter and went through on that side and checked it out. So yeah, symbolically it means a lot. You know, to see our brothers and sisters rise up and to show other brothers and sisters who didn't know that we could be Second Amendment citizens, that you have every right to protect yourself. You don't got to ask permission. You have the right to gather more than 10 people. You have the right to, not show your face, move as a unit. You don't have to answer any questions. You just got to demonstrate. So, yeah, I'm feeling that. And not as a reactionary aspect, as a proactive demonstration, to just proactively step out. Not when somebody gets killed or why are we doing? No, we doing this because it's the 4th, and y'all need to know what it's about. We need to know what this thing is about.
Right.
Right? And for the record, this is not Black Lives Matter. They are not part of Black Lives Matter. They do not agree with the passiveness of Black Lives Matter, nor do they agree with the anti-life stance of Black Lives Matter, nor do they agree with the funding of Black Lives Matter, the ulterior motive of Black. This is Stone Mountain, though, with the KKK, and none of the rappers in Atlanta who's calling it Wakanda, none of them are bringing. Why won't they teach the people about Stone Mountain? Our people go jogging on Stone Mountain. They take their family there. They go to the light show, and they're participating in a ritual that they are ignorant of. They have no idea that they are looking. They're the stupidest people in the audience when white people are sitting there. Look, there goes the picnic. They're the dumbest people on the lawn when white people are there. They're looking at Negroes like they're brain dead. You're gonna sit there in front of a monument for the.
I know my people. On my father's side, my people's from the Georgia area, and we used to visit Stone Mountain. I used to always be scared to go on top of the mountain. They used to have the car. What is it? The street cars that go up on the top, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to always go to Stone Mountain, and it just Stone Mountain is beautiful.
It is beautiful, but
we don't know. We don't know the history of the beautiful. It's really ugly.
Yeah, that's our mountain. Before they came, because they took it, but it was a sacred. It was a sacred mountain.
Right.
It was a mountain for ritual. It was a sacred space, right? Not for the KKK. It was a sacred, like Manhattan is sacred land, or Manhattan. Before it was called Manhattan, it's Manhattan, and it's also quartz. Manhattan is quartz. It's the same type of stone that Stone Mountain is, and Stone Mountain is the most quarried piece of quartz in the world, meaning that they blast it and they take pieces of it and they build monuments. They build all of the pillars that you see in these courtrooms, the steps. It's the most quarried quartz in the world. You could look it up. So our people, remember what they say, the people perish for a lack of knowledge, and the people are willfully ignorant. It's not that they don't know, they don't want to know. They don't want to know. And for the ones that even know, they don't want to know that they know. A lot of them. They like take it back.
They don't. You get to talking, you be like, man, I'm just trying to get to work, man. I'm just trying to get to work.
That part, I'm just trying to punch in, brother.
You're right.
You know these Negroes, man. They sad. They are groveling. They're at the end of their wits. It's all coming down. It's all falling down. But they can't come home because there's certain things that you cannot undo. Once you lose your manhood and give it up, what you coming back for? What are you coming back to? You can't come back. You don't got no grippers. You're done. You've been, They got blackmail on you. They got tapes on you. That was the whole Jeff Epstein thing. He was a blackmailer.
So
He's
we,
a
I mean, since we get into the Jeff Epstein, we got Ghislaine Maxwell, we got John Levin's wife, Chrissy Teigen, that's really getting hit hard on social media right now, and also we got the
Tom
Taylor
Hanks.
Braxton suicide letter, to where she was also reaching out to what is that Viacom? I think.
She was reaching out to
I mean, I think this Viacom and
uh
VH1.
yeah,
That's all Viacom, right? So you got Viacom deep into the whole mess in 1 week.
yeah.
Yep, you got the Nick Cannon apology. Also, let me throw this in. I know there's a lot of questions, but you also got DJ Vlad gets a deal with iHeartRadio.
Yeah. For the work that he's been doing against black people, for the exploiting, right? A crypto. I don't even know if he's crypto. He's a Jew. He's a Slav. He's a Slovakian. He's
I,
a
I,
original.
I heard him on they gave each other apologies. Him and Charlemagne the Fraud.
I couldn't even watch that with Leonard. You know what I'm watching right now? This is what I'm watching, and this got me want to put hands and feet on him. And I warned people about him, but they wouldn't listen. Charlemagne's thoughts on Nick Cannon, Charlemagne the God, and Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz just threw Dr. Francis Cress Wilson under the bus. And this lame right here, right? This poor excuse of a black man just sat there and had nothing to say. This man, and it goes back to what I said. Every single conscious person that went on a Breakfast Club, they are to be held accountable for the monster that they created with this dude, because he used their energy to hoist himself into a place that he would never be if it were not for the conscious people who got on his platform. He was the winner in that whole thing, because to be honest with you, what did any one of them gain as a result of getting on the Breakfast Club? Let me know. What did they gain? Did they gain notoriety?
Let me tell you what one gained out of all of them that really came from nothing, which we don't know how he got into that meeting. Like the man that came up with that pill is Charlemagne the Fraud. Charlemagne the Fraud had a lot to gain because he's right now is talking for the black community, the black culture right now.
What I said was, out of everyone who came up there, the one who gained the most.
Right.
That's how you know it's a spell. That's how you could sit back in hindsight and be like, hold on. Wesley, Umar, Polite, you name them. All of the people that went up there. What did that do for them? Versus what did it do for Charlemagne? Because he ran with the bag. He ran with the cloth. He's the face, right? He's the face. Because he also got a deal with iHeart. Nick Cannon had a deal and they cut that down. Remember, he had a talk show. He's supposed to be doing a talk show in Harlem. They was like, you know what? We're going to revisit this a year from now. After we finish dog walking him through all of these, secret all of these rooms that they're going to have him in. And he better know how to walk through a room full of vultures, because that's who they're going to sit him in. You think they're going to sit him around nice people after what he did? So what do I think about the exposing that's taking place? I think that Pluto and Saturn conjuncted on January 21st, as above. I think the planetary alignment has a lot to do with what we're seeing. There was another alignment April 4th on 4/4. And I just feel like everything that we see, from the COVID to the money to the money raining on niggas in the hood out of nowhere, because we in a Jubilee year. So biblically, what the Jubilee stands for is the forgiveness of the debts.
Right.
How many niggas got their debts forgiven this year? The Jubilee year, not only was it the forgiveness of the debts, but the slaves used to be excited about the Jubilee because that's where money would rain out of the skies. That's where they were getting new clothes.
There was a lot of Jubilee for the jailbirds right here, because in Detroit, shit, if you catch a case, you get out.
Look, bail reform in New York City, before the COVID even hit, they canceled bail in New York.
Right. Ain't no personals. Everybody out on the personal.
Okay. Tekashi 6ix9ine is home. They letting people come home.
And
Like I
you wonder
said,
why it's chaos. You wonder why it's chaos in the streets. They
that's
letting
right. In my hood, the killers from the 80s and the 90s are home now. They letting them all. They. It's almost like they dumped them all back in the hood. All of the
right,
killers. The killers is on podcasts acting like they doing. Yeah, I'm out. I'm feeding the babies and I'm giving out turkeys. I'm. You know what I mean. I'm coming back to help the hood. And I believe them. Not. You know.
right.
I
I
don't
know
believe them.
there was a problem to where you could catch a gun case, get out, catch another gun case, and get right back out on the personal. This is what we're hearing right now in the streets of Detroit. In the
I'm
streets of Detroit, right now.
look. I'm here to let you know that that's how they're giving it up in New York. And New York is flooded with mental patients. They emptied out the mental facilities. So the K2, the opiates like the heroin and the pills, right? They got little dudes on leaning on a corner. Um, People got let out of jail, but they don't got nowhere to live, right?
Right,
So the homeless shelters got a lot of criminal element in it. Prostitution is at an all-time high. The homosexuality is at a whole all-time high because the homosexuals are prostituting, right? That they call trans lives matter. Well, they out there selling pussy.
it's summer.
Um,
Everybody can live right now. It's all harmony. That means you got people living with people. So there's all kind of shit going on.
oh man. And I thought it was supposed to be social distancing. But
No,
after the BLM, like in New York, after they had the protests, when you go to Harlem, it's all you see is men and men together of different races, all up and down. I'm talking about it's almost like the '60s. It's a free for all for sexual deviancy because they let all of that fly, right? But then
right,
that's mixed in with the killers, that's mixed in with the hustlers, that's mixed in with the mental health patients, that's mixed in with the dope heads and the drug users, and it's a recipe for disaster. Right now in New York City, it's a petri dish of iniquity. That's why I call it Gotham City. It's definitely like the Joker movie. Remember the Joker movie where they said it was an infestation of super rats? Well, the super rats is Takashi 69 and everybody that's telling they let come home. And at the end of the Joker, everybody was on 42nd Street wearing masks. If you
like
go to New York City right now,
every day I wake up in an episode of The Watchmen.
facts. It's the Watchmen, it's American Gods, it's the Joker movie. It's a few movies going on at once. And in New York City, at the end of the Joker, everybody had on a mask. This I never seen the city. New York is big,
Right,
bruh. Everybody got a mask on.
everybody, and I know,
Bam.
I
You
know.
try to not wear a mask in New York.
Inside a bank, man, inside the suburbs where I would have got locked up, man. You know, outside of Detroit for wearing a goddamn mask inside a bank, man. I love it. I like the mask actually.
You know.
I like the mask. You know that's
Yeah.
but I
So
like the mask.
I
But
feel you.
let me tell you about one more thing. Since everything is going on, we also have a currency shortage. We have a shortage of change, shortage of dollars out here, and nobody's paying attention. So what about that, yo?
Yeah, I haven't carried physical cash since the COVID-19, and I haven't missed it. Cash App took over. Cash App is the preliminary or the precursor to the true digital dollar. I did a live this Monday and I was showing off my gold coins, right? I was
Right,
showing off gold currency because at the end of the day, if you get the PPP check or if you get a bust down or if you're sitting on a few racks and whatnot, it would be of utmost importance to convert that to a currency that's rising in price, like a crypto, right?
right.
Cryptocurrency or gold or silver.
Go. That's
It
like
doesn't,
1,900.
yeah, because scared money is going to be using their money for toilet paper in the near future because the dollar will fall, is falling, and has fallen. So, you know, the shortage that you're seeing is the phasing out. Remember, it don't make no sense. They just printed up a few $1 trillion, didn't they? They just had a relief. You know, they had an influx of cash when the COVID came. So how is it a shortage if there's not manufactured? So it's a lot of money in these streets. Let's be clear. It's a lot of paper money floating around. But
Liquor is at its all-time high, and is at a shortage on liquor. Here in Michigan, there's a shortage on liquor.
there was a drought. There's a drug drought and a liquor drought. I'm just saying. The drug game was super booming during the lockdown. It's a drought, right? It's
Right,
a drought on change. It's a drought on paper dollars, fiat. So it's a real drought in other places. And then in other places, there's a deluge, like in China and India, the waters are rising.
right.
So,
We got the
yeah.
flood going on.
And then there's a drought. I think there's a drought in Africa. There's a famine going down and whatnot. And, you know, it is what it is. But I'm just saying to the fam out there, Forex, invest in these metals. Look, you could buy stones. The stones are going up in price. You could buy copper and protect yourself. You could buy precious metals, precious stones. You know, anything that appreciates in value, I really feel that right now, instead of people sitting around, you know, swimming in conspiracy theories and being vagabonds, they should be more proactive in protecting their assets.
Right.
You know, because
Property.
because ain't nobody gonna hold your hand when this thing fall apart. Nobody want to hear that, especially not the ones that was out here preparing. You were gonna be considered an 85er. You're gonna be, you know, nobody's gonna talk to you. You know, so
Right.
while the time is right, I suggest people fortify themselves. And back to the whole thing about the child molestation, the rapists, the pedophilia. Like I said, we're in a day and time of 2020 where all things will be revealed. What is more hidden than the rat lines or the deep state or what they're doing with these babies? What's more hidden than the underbelly of the criminal element in the United States of America, both in all three branches and in the law enforcement, intelligence? What is the deep web? What are they doing on the deep web? Why do they need a deep web? Why do they need a dark web? You know what I'm saying? People need to ask these questions. So I think the arrest of Jeff Epstein set this whole thing in motion. Before that, I used to share things on my page and get one like. I did a lecture in 2017 called In Too Deep with Brother Rich on Black Magic 363. The In Too Deep stood for deep state, deep web, deep mind, which was AI, and deep shit, which the people are in. And people wasn't really jacking that. They didn't even want to hear that information. It was a paid lecture. I think I made $500 off of that. Nobody wanted to get it. But now, in these days and times of 2020, when the veils have lifted, it's becoming a trending topic. And I'm excited that it's a trending topic because, to be honest with you, if one child's life could be saved, then then
That's
we doing something right. Atlanta is they niggas is calling Atlanta Wakanda. Astaghfirullah. Well, Atlanta is the number until you clean up the sex trafficking and the human trafficking and the underage and the prostitution and whatnot in Atlanta's underworld. Y'all niggas need to stop that. You know what I mean? That's you trying to put lipstick on a pig. Atlanta is Sodom or Gomorrah. It's either one of them. But it has Wakanda potential. I say that everywhere that I've traveled in America, Atlanta is the most electrified, the most it's the most electrified and the most potential. It's the most city with the most potentiality of melanin people that I've ever visited in the last 5 years. We'll be out there next Saturday I'm hosting a lecture with Blue Pill and my bro AA Rashid and whatnot. So, Atlanta, it got its perks, but it's got its challenges. It needs people to stay on this neck Pause. Because it's a lot of harm taking place. Because even though all of that is going on, these young boys is killing each other. They kicking down doors. You know,
We got the National Guard that's out there right now, right?
yeah, they allegedly they got the National Guard out there, but nobody is jacking the National Guard. But yeah, they got the National Guard out there. I mean, it's kind of turned.
Right, you got the mountain, what, the Stone Mountain, the huge courts out there. So it's electrified out there right now.
Very much so. Very
And you
much
got
so.
a baby out there that's the spokesman right now for the movement. So yeah,
We saw a little baby. Last time we went out there, we was in a venue with him. You know, we had a few words with him, but we didn't have the kind of words that we need to have with the brother. Because at the end of the day, whoever got the mind of the youth, that's who we need to sit down and talk to. Because the influencers influence the people.
yeah, you got the Migos
So,
ran off the label right now. You got the mumble rap. Is this the end of the mumble rap?
nah, ain't the end of the mumble rap. It's new mumble rap. It's the end of their run. Like you said, little baby took that label. They was clashing and whatnot.
Well,
So
you got a little
I,
baby that's more conscious right now, right?
I mean, he is what we call street conscious.
Right.
So in our world, the Migos and everybody else is expendable. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we're gonna have to ride with who's conscious over people who don't show consciousness. You know, so kudos to little baby for running them out of town or
Right.
running them off the label. I'm not. I can't. I won't cry them a river. At the end of the day, they had their window of opportunity to speak to the people, and they did not do that.
I don't see right now whatever rapper that's out at the protest is winning right now. And
That's
that's
a fact.
what I'm seeing right now. Even here from Iceworth Vezo, Lil Baby. You got several rappers that's out there. They winning right now. You even got Portia out there getting arrested, catching felonies.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm
You know,
saying?
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have. I mean, you have to be socially responsible. You have to be socially astute. You got to put on for your people, or you're gonna be, you're gonna be deemed, what do they call that? Non-essential.
Right.
So
Non-essential.
nobody want to hear all of that nobody want to hear all of that bando this, bando that. If you're not sprinkling some substance with it, because little baby is balanced. He gonna give you the trap talk. He gonna give you all of that drive by.
To me, you got the reality stars right now. They out at the protest, catching charges.
That's a fact. I don't mean that this is what's coming up next weekend, Saturday. It's gonna be Saturday and Sunday. This one is gonna be at the Unity and Coffee, 640 Evans Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30310. Blue Pill and AA Rashid, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday for the family. Please pull up. So yeah, I'm and a lot of these brothers are watching videos while they in the studio, right? They familiar with somebody. You know what I mean? I don't know. They listen to different people. You know what I'm saying? They get exposed to different teachers. So you could tell that they're being influenced. Um, I would highly encourage, you know, the woke rappers to have a master teacher who is their counsel, that they get all of their information and their talking points from. Don't just get it off the internet. And don't try to freestyle this thing, because chances are you might get jammed up, because the people on the other side are not ignorant. They don't have speech impediments. They don't have a lack of information. You know what I mean? They actually know the truth, and they know the lies to hide the truth. So they have a double consciousness. these Europeans that I speak of, or the allies that people be trying to bring around, they have a double consciousness. They have a consciousness to speak to you, and they got a consciousness to speak to their own. So you could fall for the okey doke if you want, but like we saw with Nick Cannon, if you have conversations and you can't stand on your facts, if you're not well studied, you will be embarrassed. They will put you on a cross and burn you in front of the people if you don't have strong legs.
He's just trying to get at the game, and I think, you know, just try to capitalize off what's going on, and he really wasn't ready for the questions. He really wasn't ready for the history and none of that. He just got on there thinking, you know, like just for the movement, and he got ran. That's right. If you don't got your studies and shit together, you're not ready to go against them demons.
He didn't realize what game he was playing.
Right.
He was in it for the likes, and he was in it for the you know, because the shorties with the melanin popping, when you start talking that talk, you know, they'll make you feel good about yourself.
Right.
And to get the support of the people in a day and time, to be treated like one of the teachers, that's an honorable position to be in. He's not dumb. He knows, you know, he knows what social capital is. But his credit kind of plummeted when he did not stand on, because that goes with the game. You're gonna be challenged. You gotta stand on it.
You got to stand.
You're gonna get your jaw tapped. You gotta be
Right.
able to, don't fall down. You gotta be able to take a hit and hit back. He could have hit back stronger.
I know. I can tell you this because when I came into the game a few years ago, my third interview, I'm gonna say my third, fourth interview was with Professor Griff, and goddamn, he ran circles around me.
Yeah.
You got to be on your shit.
My first lecture, well, maybe my second one. This was like 2010, 10 years ago. I was opening up for Professor Griff. Well, not even opening, because he opened and he bounced. And we did our thing. So he opened up for us. Right?
Right.
So I would never cross him. If he said something that was controversial, I would let him clear it up. And to be honest with you, I said this on my Melanin Mondays, that if he was the one that got broke and buckled, that would have really hurt me. I expected that from Nick Cannon, you know, and I expected Professor Griff to stay Professor Griff. So everything is still going according to plan. Now, the hang up with Nick Cannon is the fact that he's about to make millions off of Dr. Sebi's story. And, you know, he hasn't necessarily identified who's getting that money and where it's going and what he's finna do with that. And you got to ask yourself, is he going to take Richard Griffin off of the documentary? That's Professor Griff, because in order for Nick Cannon to get into the good graces of these people, he's going to have to acquiesce.
He was one of the special features on there, right?
That's a fact.
Right.
He was in a commercial. He was in a trailer. You know what I mean? Mama Pill wasn't in the trailer, and she's on the document. She's in a she's one of the 3 defendants. She wasn't in the trailer, and he interviewed her. KT wasn't in the trailer. Chef Aki, Blue, Red, KT. There's a lot of people that he didn't put in the trailer that he interviewed. So we're gonna see how this thing comes out. I think
Yeah,
they
had to get to him before the DVD dropped.
So it's like, if you don't see how, because remember, this all came after the Farrakhan speech. They start targeting everybody. They didn't say nothing about Farrakhan. They just wanted to, everybody that was retweeting him, or they saw it on the farm, right? They put them, the propaganda machine went into place where they started shaming them, and they started utilizing their handlers and other people to, you know, make these brothers and sisters the bad guy. And then these brothers and sisters fell into that trap and started their apology campaign. They start perp walking them. Apology tour. They had Deshaun Jackson first on the apology tour, dragging them. Then we got Nick. Then they're gonna get Charlemagne, a few other people. So it is what it is, man. You know.
Right. Right. And so, we're gonna close it out. I
Hold
see.
on. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, King.
No, go ahead.
Now you go ahead.
Well, I seen you had put something about the Frankists and Alex Crowley that seem to be moving deep within our political parties, deep within society right now, the underground. Tell a little bit the people a little bit about the Frankists.
Okay. Glad you asked that. It blew my mind when I did the research on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
It blew my and this is why they don't want you to study them. This is why they don't want you to go digging into their history. This is why you can't talk about these quote unquote Zionists because they have a history. And if you dig into their history, they will be exposed for
Right.
who they are versus who they're not.
Go ahead. I'm right here.
Right? So the I'm gonna pull it up real quick so I can show the family the research that I am doing, and I encourage y'all to please go and do your research so you don't get shut down in a debate and you don't know what the hell you're talking about,
I'm
and
right
they
here.
make so Sabbatai Zevi, right? He was the one who set this thing off. Sabbatai Zevi was a Sephardic ordained rabbi from Smyrna, right? Shout out to everybody living in Smyrna, Georgia. He's a Kabbalist of Romanite origin. He claimed to be the Messiah, right? This whole thing is about the Messiah, right? So then after he converted to Islam and he lost a lot of his followers, right? And people kind of like, they turned on him and whatnot. Then afterwards, Jacob Frank rose up. Jacob Frank was born in 1726. He's Polish Jewish. He was a religious leader. He claimed to be the reincarnation of Sabbatai Zevi and the biblical patriarch Yaqub or Jacob, right? And he created a denomination of Judaism and they refer it to Frankism, right? It incorporated some aspects of Christianity into the Judaism. And the development of Frankism was one consequence of the messianic movement of Sabbatai Zevi, right? And if you study anything about the Jews, they have these messianic movements.
Right.
Now, Jacobians, right, or the brothers who was not the brothers, the Jews who were practicing Frankism, they basically they were anti-Talmudists, right? So they were doing everything opposite of what the quote unquote, the Jews were following, where they were saying that this was righteous. So they was like, so because we all can't be good, let's all be bad. Let's all be evil. Let's all create an environment where we're going to force the second coming of the Messiah, right? So they say when this world goes dark, when it becomes immoral, when it becomes desolate, when people lose, when it becomes demoralized, right? There's this article. Ooh, they erased that article. They got rid of it. There's the demoralization of the Jews and whatnot. Homosexuality, bestiality, prostitution, all kind of
Yeah.
all of that was being practiced by these followers and whatnot. These people were prosecuted later on in life. These people were being run out of countries later on in life.
Right. With
These people,
with the Albert Einsteins and all them.
right? But what they call the pogroms and whatnot, where they were being persecuted around Europe, different countries were claiming that these Jews were corrupting the moral fabric of their people.
Right. They were doing tests. They were doing experiments. Um, you know, they was being ungodly,
Yes.
basically.
So sacred orgies, right? Surely some concepts delivered by Judaism hit Jews back like a boomerang. God, the atom bomb, summer vacation, da 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 da. The origin of the excommunication practice dates back to the Middle Ages, even in biblical times. It was mostly in use during the bitter war between Hasidism and its opposers since the 18th century until the 19th century. That period saw a cruel conflict that's been splitting the Jewish society for a whole century. Bans were published on renting houses, hiring, or even talking to someone who was suspected to support Hasidism, right? So the Hasidic Jews are the ones you see in New York City who basically run the real estate. You know what I mean? They own everything in real estate. They have a lot of power. They have a lot of influence. They have a lot of the quote unquote resources, right? So these orgies, right? There's a lot of orgies. These orgies that were taking place were basically to summon these entities, right? That they were praying to, these demonic spirits and whatnot that they were dealing with. And we see the rise of Illuminati, right? Because the Rothschilds and Jacob Frank and also Weissenhout, right? They all three came together and formed what we have, what we know today as, the Illuminati and these banking institutions and whatnot. Okay. So please go and do your research on this man right here. Dig very deep into him. When the Louis Farrakhan was telling people to abandon the what was he saying at that speech? He was telling them that you had the Talmud, right?
Right.
And
Right now, I just got a picture of the Eminem orgy with the Superman. Go ahead.
facts.
I'm just throwing a
So
pick of that up.
he was speaking about the people who follow these teachings, right? And if you speak to real Jews, they will explain to you the differences between the two, right? Because they even have conflict within their ranks. Um, One of the things that the Messianic movement promised the Jews was Palestine, and they gave it to them. They delivered that. Henceforth, why the people who went over there to move in, why they are carrying on the way that they're carrying on. They're not following traditional Judaic laws. They are following everything opposite of that. But that's the big secret of the Zionists that they don't want you to know about because automatically you will begin to judge them. So,
Right.
know, that's where Hollywood, that's why San Fernando Valley with the porn industry is Jewish. That's why the Playboys, the pornography magazines is Jewish. That's what the pogroms was about. They were bringing pornography and promiscuity into these. That's why they put them in ghettos and whatnot. And they ran them out of Russia. They ran them out of Poland. They were running them out of different places because these people were considered to be immoral. They were considered to be deviants. They were considered to be evil to the core. Blood libel, the killing of the children, the draining of the blood. Everything that you hear people talk about right now with the sacrifices with adrenochrome. That movie on Netflix called Old Guard with Charlize Theron, who emasculated.
Name of
The
it.
Old Guard. It's the Old Guard. It opens up in Morocco, right? Her name is Adrenochrome, damn near. Her name is a play on adrenochrome. She's centuries old. She's a vampire, almost like a vampire. She's centuries old, and her name is Adrenochrome. You feel me? It's a lot of it's all kind of subliminals in that movie. But that movie is to be decoded. I think KT or somebody's gonna decode it soon. You know, they if you want once you do the research, you're gonna look at everything. They don't hide anything. Everything is in plain sight.
Well, we got Chrissy Teigen right now. You know what I'm saying, being bashed. She's taking down a lot of her little social media tweets.
1 million.
You know,
I think it was 1 million tweets. How you gonna? How could you take down 1 million tweets? Why? What is there to hide? Did you read her tweets? They're all
Right.
Pizzagate tweets. This woman is sick in her brain, and she's married to John Legend. And
Yeah,
John Legend is
we already
highly.
know what John Legend is. John
That's
Legend is
a
a
fact.
fun boy.
That's a fact. He's a fun boy, and she's a beard.
Just
So,
like what's going on with your with Will Smith's wife.
and Will Smith, whose son was in a dress, whose daughter is asexual,
Right.
whose rumors were swirling around for years about his sexuality and hers as well. Now it's basically out in the open because the wife went ahead and got with the child's friend. If Will Smith would have slept with the child's friend, he would have been canceled. But they allow that to rock. But you know, the boy went and made a song, and he's being very highly disrespectful towards the Smith legacy.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
goes to show you money ain't about money don't mean nothing.
And
In
before
regards to family, what is money? Money doesn't hold a family together. A strong back does.
man, yeah. Yeah, man, we got a lot of shit shit in the open right now, and I don't really got no more questions. We got Epstein girlfriend. Do you think she really just throwing everybody under the bus right now? That's my last question.
Grisleen,
Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell.
she got a lot of information. You know, she might get off in jail. I don't know. You know, I'm not sure if she's turning state, but I have a feeling that she may be cooperating. You know, it's been said that she's Mossad and whatnot, but that whole thing is real tricky because it's almost like when people are asking the police to bring them justice on other police. So how could you have, you know, this system is filled with, you know, it's a rat line. The whole rat line is built off of, organ harvesting, sex harvesting. You know, I'm gonna show something real quick too because it's so how could they be policing each other? I don't understand. You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Like people are anticipating the police to lock up the police, and I'm like, we got to figure out another way because that's erroneous. That's erroneous. You know how many institutions were created off of the peculiar institution?
Man.
Let me see if I could pull it up real quick.
Once again, this is Truth Talk Nation. We here with the Red Pill. This is Judo Awoke Ace, and this is another episode.
All right, this is an excerpt from my book. I said the peculiar institution gave birth to capitalism. If you don't believe me, go and look it up. Colonial economy system, the credit system, the insurance system. You got TI going after Lloyd's of London. That's cool.
Right.
But Aetna and Hartford Life Insurance, that's the American side of where they insured all of the slaves. Aetna, right in Connecticut.
What about Asheville?
Okay, that's another one. The insurance system, the good system, gross domestic products, labor forces, the breeding system, the eugenics system, entertainment industry, cotton industry, tobacco industry, precious metals industry, hemp industry, livestock industry, agricultural industry, cotton, tobacco,
Right.
all
Manufacturing,
agriculture, all crops,
everything.
criminal justice industry,
Right.
military complex industry, prison complex industry, mega church industry. There were no mega churches before the peculiar institution. Baptist church industry, Roman Catholic church industry, Lutheran church industry, Pentecostal industry, Islamic industry, gambling industry, and many more, far too many to forget. The blood, sweat, and tears of millions of helpless captives, servants, and prisoners of war subjected to unadulterated savagery at the hands of barbaric, hate fueled degenerative toxic insurgents, an invading force of biological, ideological, and theological antibodies that consume, confuse, and conjure the worst aspects of man has hidden in his lowest rungs of his soul. The post-Atlantean Aryan aliens to American culture have poisoned the sacred stream of consciousness that emanates from this sacred landmass and landmasses around the globe. Page 11, Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah, 2020 Year of Fear. Yeah, that's a book that I'm writing.
Right.
So I don't know what anybody's talking about. You know what I mean? Like this year and many more years to come, it's going to be ugly because the truth is going to smack people in the face like a ton of bricks. And if they're not ready for the truth, I don't know what to say. I don't,
Yeah,
get
we got the red and the blue star that's out there right now. That the
yeah,
great Farrakhan spoke about.
the Kachina.
Right.
That's the coming of the Messiahs.
Right. You got the 9th month coming up, September. So what do you think September could be? That's the month of the birth.
The Jason months. Well, the Jason months is July, August, September, October, November. It's just gonna turn up. They already did their pre-rituals for 6 months. The fear that they had people under, the spirit cookers were able to do something with that fear. The Luciferians, they've been able to utilize that fear to their benefit. So the Jason months are promised to be bloody. Promised. More revelations, more atrocities, more of what, more fear. We haven't even reached phase 4 of the COVID yet.
Right.
So they're in their bag. I highly suggest that people get in theirs.
We got the red pill speaking right now. This is Truth Talk Nation, and man, he dropping some dimes.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
That's basically pretty much what I got. That's been over an hour, man. What you got planned for the future right now?
Thursday coming up, I got a lecture called The Conscious Industry. That's going to be dealing with, the aspects of our industry and claiming this industry as ours.
Right.
Health and wellness, fitness, new media like what we're doing right now, music, apparel, AI, robotics. Like my brother Derek Grace, he has his Derek Grace Robotics. Like we are in an industry, and if we don't treat it like such, then we're gonna be overrun by the woke marketplace, and they're gonna be selling us CMOS. They're gonna be selling us lectures back to us. They're gonna be selling us all of our stuff. So for my brothers and sisters, they want to be financially secure, and you want to unplug from the system, go ahead and tap in Conscious Industry. We're going to be giving you clue. We're going to be giving you, cloth. We're going to be giving you cheat codes. We're going to be giving you hacks. We're going to be giving you applicable information to get you tapped in to a new income stream, so you can see the worth in the stuff that you study in. A lot of people don't see the worth in it because they're not applying it. It doesn't feed their babies, so they like, what I need that for? If you got to ask that question, that you don't need it. I'm good. I'm not going to convince nobody
I don't need that
of
shit.
nothing that they don't need.
Right. Right. So I know you're gonna be on the Dr. Phil webinar that's coming up, or you already
No,
did
I'm
it? No.
Nah, he just had me on the flyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
not going to be in that.
Okay. All right.
Shout out
Well,
to Dr. Phil though.
yeah. Dr. Phil be dropping some dimes. Well, that's basically it. Anything else you got to say? You got drop your email or your web.
Yes, thank you. I have a group that I've started. So I think it's about 400 deep already. It's called the Stream Chasers, and this is for my brothers and sisters that are really serious. Not that you're inquiring, because we're past that phase. We're in 2020, so a lot of the preliminaries are over with. The fact that we've slowed down to keep up, that says a lot. You know what I mean? We're not even supposed to be here right now. But streamchasers.com for the people that want to chase the stream so you could taste your dreams. Go and sign up. Right now it's a landing page. I just want your information. Sign up. If you have any question, comments, or concerns, any inquiries business wise, or if you want to book the guard, hit us up on the email. That's the business email. That's the best way to get in contact with us.
Right.
This is the Cash App. This is the best way to send a donation. This is the best way to support. The support is with $1. I don't need a pat on the back because my ego is not tied up into this. I don't need flattery, and I don't need a battery. You know what I mean? What we do need is resources. We need to build our own platform. We have our own streaming service called Netflix. We're building that out. I encourage anybody that's out there that you want to tap into some original content and whatnot. I got over 1,000 different videos on the internet. Me personally, I'm not even talking about my brother KT, the Arch Degree, or Mama Pill, or anybody else in my network. I just got 1,000. Me and Blue, it's 1,000 plus. So we'll have all of that stuff up there. Facts 2020. Facts stands for food, art, clothing, technology, and shelter. I debuted Facts, or rather, I got the idea for Facts while in Detroit in 2016 at the Steams conference. Shout out to everybody that was a part of that.
Right.
And Facts, we have a lot of brothers and sisters who have benefited off of in life just off of the information that we provided with Facts. So sign up to Facts if you're about food, art, arms, coding, culture, clothing, technology, transportation, shelter, strategies, all of these things. Forex with the F. Yeah, tap in and sign up. And another one, the Patreon Red Pillar for all of my Patreons who are who support the growth and development, the intellectual property, and the movement. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I don't answer that. Viacom can't twist my arm. CBS can't punk me. Fox can't tell me to shut up. YouTube, they can't police my mouth.
Right.
I don't have no one controlling me at the moment, and I don't wish to be controlled. And the family that are out there that are supporting us, they are the ones who keep us going. They keep us, they keep us to the place where we don't have to answer to nobody because of our patrons. You know what I mean? And because of our supporters and the people who believe in us. So I want to say thank you to all of my Patreons. Love and light to each one of y'all. Love and light to all of my supporters. Melanin Mondays on Mondays. Know the Ledge Media YouTube. Third Eye Thursdays on Thursday. Tough Talk Tuesdays with my brother Blue Pill on Tuesdays. Right. That's about it.
Man, it's always a pleasure to have you on the platform, man, for Truth Talk Nation, man. You always bring the truth, man, and that's why I touch base with you,
Yes. Appreciate you, King.
You already know. So once again, we got Judo Woke Ace. You can hit me on the Cash App. Hit me on the YouTube. We on YouTube. We got the Truth Talk Nation Patreon. But other than that, man, anything else? Ken, you want to say anything?
Yeah, stay dangerous. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it. So it's Judo Woke Ace, and we got Red Pill, and that's it. Peace.
Hey, no doubt.